You think you know what a mermaid is? The blonde hair, the silver tail, the Disney movie. That is not the whole story. There is another version, older, darker. And it comes from the other side of the world, a version that has nothing to do with sailors or rocks or songs that lure ships, a version where the mermaid heals the sick, guides entire communities, chooses children. And this version is not a legend from the past. It is alive right now, practiced by an entire people. Along a river in Cameroon, Central Africa, every single year, without interruption, and nobody ever told you about it. It is called the Jengu. And before you say anything, this is not a myth someone read in a book. This is not a story passed round a campfire. This is an active belief system, with ceremonies, with specialists, with thousands of people gathered on a river bank every December who will tell you that what lives in that water is real. So let's start at the beginning. Picture this. You are standing on the banks of the Wari River in Cameroon at dusk. The water is dark. The air is thick and warm. There is no wind. The kind of silence that feels like something is listening. And at the edge of the river, half in the water, you see something, a figure. Mostly human from the waist up. Skin dark and gleaming like the water itself. Hair long and full, floating round the head like gravity does not apply. Eyes that catch the last light of the sun in a way that does not look right. And below the waist, a tail, long, serpentine, not the neat decorative tail from the fairy tale. Something that moves the way no animal you have seen moves. You blink and you ask yourself, what am I actually looking at? But here's the thing that makes the Jengu different. It does not look like a European fantasy. It does not have pale skin. It does not have golden hair. It does not sit on a rock waiting to be discovered. It looks like the people who live there, because according to the Sawa people, it belongs there. It has always belonged there, long before any of them arrived, long before the first boat ever crossed that river, long before there was a name for the city that now stands on its edge. It was already there, and it wears ornaments, shells, beads, ranged with intention. This is not a wild creature dragged out of some primordial ocean. This is something aware enough of its own existence to decorate itself. Something that has made choices. Something that has been there long enough to develop a relationship with the people. Think about that for a second. A creature that chooses what it wears. That has been observed closely enough that an entire people can describe exactly how it presents itself to the world. That is not a glimpse. That is a relationship. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Every culture on earth that ever lived near water described something like this. The Greeks, the Japanese, the Scandinavians, all of them, separately, describing the same shape. But they did not describe the same personality. The Greek sirens wanted one thing, to lure, to trap, beautiful but dangerous. The Jengu is something completely different. The Jengu heals. That is its primary function. When someone in the community is suffering from an illness, the Jengu is called upon, through ritual, through ceremony. And the Jengu answers, not with a song that leads you to your end, with something that functions more like medicine. But here is what nobody talks about. This medicine works not according to legend, according to the people using it. People who live in a world with hospitals and doctors and the internet, and who still come back to the river. But healing is only the beginning. When a village faces a difficult decision, the Jengu is consulted through a specialist, someone trained for years to carry questions to the water and bring answers back. The Jengu tells fishermen where the fish will be. It warns of coming storms. It speaks about things that have not happened yet. This is something that actively participates in the life of an entire community, something with opinions, with knowledge, and it demands one thing above everything else: respect, not fear. Respect, the kind you show to something that was here before you arrived and will be here long after you are gone. Every fisherman who takes his boat out first says a prayer to the Jengu, not out of habit, out of genuine belief. In 2026, right now, men with modern boats and phones in their pockets are still praying to a river creature. That is not folklore. That is active faith. The same way someone kneels before going to sleep. The Jengu has that kind of power over an entire people. So why does the rest of the world not know about this? Because the story the Western world chose to tell, the European siren, left no room for something like the Jengu. Something that comes from Africa. Something that heals instead of harms. Something that chooses its people. The Jengu did not fit the version they decided to keep, so they left it out. And while the world was busy retelling the Greek version, the Sawa people were quietly continuing to do exactly what they have always done: praying, practicing, gathering, and every December, coming together for a ceremony that has no equivalent anywhere else. A ceremony where a man walks into the river in front of thousands of witnesses, does not come. Back up for almost an hour. Stay with me, because that is what we are talking about in part 2. But before you go anywhere, if you are not subscribed yet, do it right now. Because what comes next has been filmed. It has been witnessed by thousands of people, and science has never once explained it. Every December, in the city of Douala on the coast of Cameroon, something happens that the rest of the world does not talk about. An entire people gathers on the banks of the Wari River. Chiefs arrive in ceremonial clothing that has been worn for generations. Elders carry objects so old that nobody alive knows exactly when they were first made. Crowds stretch along the water as far as you can see. The air smells like the river, like something ancient, like something that was here long before this city existed. And then, in front of all of them, a man walks into the water. He goes under, and he does not come back up for almost an hour. Not 2 minutes, not 5. Almost 60 minutes beneath the surface of the Wari River, in front of thousands of witnesses. Every single year, let that number land. 60 minutes. The average person can hold their breath for about 90 seconds. A trained free diver can manage around 10 minutes. The world record is just over 24 minutes in a controlled environment. This man goes under, in a river, with no equipment, no safety team, no oxygen, and comes back up after 60 minutes. And when he comes back up, his clothes are completely dry. The basket he carried into the water with him, dry. His body dry. There are videos of this, filmed every year. You can find them if you look. And science has never once sent a research team. No cameras, no measuring equipment, no researchers, just not there. Ask yourself why. Because that question matters. Science goes where the evidence is. They fly to the Arctic or the bottom of the ocean. But nobody goes to Douala in December. This ceremony is called the Ngono, formally documented since 1949. Though the Sawa people say it is far older than that. The man who enters the river is a specialist. Someone who has spent decades learning the precise rituals that allow him to reach what lives there. He arrives before sunrise. He carries offerings, food, objects of value, things prepared specifically for what waits beneath the surface. The crowd on the bank does not panic. They wait, because they have seen this before. Their parents and grandparents saw it too. And every single time, the man comes back with a message about the year ahead, about harvests, weather, and decisions to be made. In 2024, UNESCO added the Ngondo ceremony to its official list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The same list as the pyramids. Among the Bakweri people, the Jengu chooses children. The Jengu makes its choice known through signs that appear in the child. A girl, between 8 and 10 years old, separated from ordinary life. She learns a secret language that only initiates speak. A language kept completely sealed for over a century. No recordings, no leaks. In a world where everything gets filmed and shared. When she comes back, her community recognizes that something has changed. She carries herself differently. She knows things she did not know before. Right now, in 2026, this is still happening. Girls being chosen. Girls learning the language. Girls coming back changed. A belief does not survive 1,000 years of pressure unless people keep experiencing something that they cannot walk away from. Science says, show me the creature. The Saw people say, come stand on the bank of the Wari River at dusk, and tell me what you see. The river does not care whether you believe in what it is hiding. It just continues. Patient. Dark. Tell me in the comments, do you think the Jengu is real? If you want to go deeper, subscribe. See you in the deep.